Okay, welcome to a class today on health and medicine. So let's deal with three verbs firstly, which are perhaps they're all quite similar, but I want to show you that they're different. So if you treat somebody, that means that you give them medicine with the aim of helping them. Yeah, so doctors and nurses treat the patients. They give them medical treatment, yeah, and treatment is the noun from the verb to treat somebody. So this is the one that you normally need, yeah, you normally use this one. You don't often hear, or not so often, this one, cure somebody. And that's because when somebody is cured, they are completely and utterly healthy. Yeah, and if somebody cures you of cancer, that means they completely get rid of your cancer. And so cure is total success. And you'll often hear it not used as a verb, but used as a noun. You'll often hear something like this: they haven't found a cure for cancer, or something like that, because they don't have a way of treating cancer which is 100% successful. So forms of treatment for cancer would be something like radiotherapy, chemotherapy, but certainly these forms of treatment are not cures for cancer. In fact, often, they have they have a lot of side effects, a lot of adverse reactions if you use these forms of medicine. And of course, often they destroy the body, perhaps more than they cure the body. So remember that cure is success, yeah? So if you say, I am cured, or the doctors cured my leprosy, that means they successfully treated your leprosy. So cure is successful treatment. Now, even more rarely, you will hear heal. And you normally hear heal in this one down here, when a wound or injury or cut heals. That's the most common one. But there is another one. When somebody heals somebody, it's usually a priest or a religious man or a witch doctor or a spiritualist. They maybe put their hands above you and they heal you by using some kind of spiritual energy or something like that. That's what we use heal for. You would certainly use heal if you were talking about the Bible and you were talking about Jesus. You would certainly say Jesus healed the sick, and not Jesus treated the sick or cured the sick, because that makes him sound like a doctor. Heal the sick makes him sound like a religious person, a spiritual person, someone who uses his spiritual powers to make somebody feel better. So this is always religious, spiritual. It's not medicine, okay? It's certainly not medicine. It's more like spiritual energy, or perhaps divine intervention, where God helps you to heal the person, okay? But a second meaning of heal is when you get a cut and the wound heals, the cut heals, the injury heals. And it means that the injury dries up, it seals up, it closes and it dries. Usually it heals by developing a scab, first of all, which is the hard material that forms when the blood clots on the surface. Yeah, when the blood gets sticky and it forms a scab. And when the scab falls off, because it does fall off over time, you sometimes are left with a scar. If it's a particularly deep cut, you'll be left with a scar. And a scar is just a mark of where you got cut or wounded or injured or hurt. Yeah, that's called a scar. So we all have scars because of previous injuries. Okay, we all hope that you recover quickly after you get sick. So we all wish you a speedy recovery, a full recovery, and they collocate very well. And recovery is just slightly more formal for get better, because we do often say get well soon, yeah, and that's from get better, get well soon, yeah, meaning I hope you feel better soon. Because remember, we use well and poorly for healthy and sick. If you say, are you feeling well, it means, are you feeling healthy? And if you say, I'm feeling poorly, it means you're feeling sick, yeah? Anyway, recover means get better. And so anytime that you're injured, I hope you'll recover quickly, that you have a speedy recovery, a full recovery. Now you have these three that are different. You break a bone and it's broken. The bone is completely broken, and your leg or arm or wherever it is, but usually, let's say a leg or an arm, they often get broken. The leg or the arm is usually put in plaster. Notice there's no A here. It's not a plaster. It's just put in plaster, because plaster here is a material, and it's the same material that they use in building when they plaster the walls or the ceilings. So that word, plaster, uncountable plaster, no A before plaster, that refers to the hard case that they put around a broken arm or a broken leg to make sure that it can, or to give it time so that the arm can heal. Yeah, we would use it there as well, so that the bone can heal. Yeah, and so you protect it in that hard case of plaster. But breaking a bone is the worst thing to do. It's where the bone completely breaks. You can fracture a bone as well, which is more like cracking the bone, where the bone cracks or fractures. It doesn't completely break, but it fractures along the bone. And so you can certainly talk about a fractured skull if somebody receives a very strong blow to the head. Yeah, if somebody gets hit on the head, if they suffer from blunt force trauma, then they might suffer from a fractured skull. And that just means that the skull, that's the word for the bones in your head, is fractured, cracked in some kind of location.